This is update number 28, I think, on my N-scale layout. All I really did today was some ballasting, and I will show you that in a minute. But it's fairly time consuming because first you have to spread the ballast and kind of make it look halfway neat, which I'm not that good at, and you kind of have to make sure that it's not on the ties and not against the rails. Then after you've got it spread, you have to use a wetting agent, generally 71% alcohol, to kind of wet it down. After you've got it wet, you use a mixture of about 50% glue and water and spread that in and let it soak through and let it dry for a couple hours overnight. And then after it's dry, you have to go back and make sure that you've got the rails cleared of any ballast that might be stuck to them. And then you have to go through and clean the top of the track off so you have good conductivity for your electricity. And finally, you have to run a locomotive over the spot that you've ballasted to make sure that there aren't any issues, that the switches are working and that you haven't missed anything that might derail the train. And you normally have to work in small sections of the layout, so that ends up being quite time consuming and not all that interesting. But anyway, I will show you what I've done. I kind of started right here where you can see, and you can follow it around. I've got ballasted here, and normally you kind of skip the switches because you don't want them to get too sticky, but I've got all this ballasted down here, down to there, and to this switch. I've got a bit of an issue with that switch that I got to work out, so I kind of stopped right there. And then I have to ballast this section right here. That's the next section. I worked on this side of the layout first because it's going to be the side that'll be against the wall, which will happen when I move it to its permanent location. So my plan for next week is to finish that section that I just showed you, and then I'm going to hopefully move the layout to its permanent home, and I'll probably take a break from balloting and work on some other things before I get to ballasting the track on the other side, which will at that point be in the front of the layout. Anyway, that's just kind of a very brief description of what I've been doing and what ballasting entails. I think I kind of mentioned several weeks ago that ballasting was my second least favorite thing right after electrical, and after spending a week ballasting, I think it may be moving into a tie with electrical for my least favorite stuff. Anyway, I'm glad to get some of it done, and it doesn't look all that great, but it looks better ballasted than not ballasted, so that's a plus, I guess.